I had a dream last night, and when I woke up, I remembered it, but just a moment ago, it's gone.
Boo. Greetings, pro wrestling fans. It's Nick, Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast. This is the Roundtable, episode 60, and it is the Halloween special. I'm sitting here with
Micheal Myers, a.k.a. Just On.
It's your boy, the casual fan, Tanner. He's back.
Oh, buddy, it's good to have you back for this special edition of the Roundtable.
It's good to be back, Nick. It's good to be back.
2 weeks in a row. You were with us last week, too, so it's nice to have you here 2 weeks in a row, man.
Thank you very much. It's
Good.
nice to be back, bro. Thanks for having me, eh?
Yeah, man, we missed you. We missed you. I think it was, it's been a while.
It's been about 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, we missed you. But don't forget, check us out on Instagram and Twitter, guys, at PW LookBack on both of those. Send us a comment, like, DM, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Pro Wrestling LookBack. Hit us up on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. Hit the 5 stars. We'd really appreciate that. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the show. And don't forget to check out teespring.com/Pro Wrestling LookBack. You can check out some of the new shirts we've got on there. It's not a work, Don. It's not a work.
It's not.
You can get a mug or a sweater. I'm still working on that backpack for Newell, so stay tuned. But yeah, check it out. That's pretty much it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
My Twitter is at JustDon44.
Tanner, do you remember your Twitter?
I think it's Royalty40.
It is. I don't know how active you're going to find Tanner on the Twitter, but if you want to check him out, that's what it is, at Royalty40. And the main one at PW LookBack Podcast. So yeah, check it all out, guys. But don't forget, check out our sponsor at Pure Oxide Premium CBD Oils. It's at Pure Oxide CBD on Instagram, and it's pureoxide.com. They ship worldwide. Talk about it every week, guys. No GMOs, no THC, lab tested, multiple different types of products, a 2,500 milligram bottle, 5,000 milligram bottle, 3,000 milligram cream. Check out the owner on Instagram at Justin.Brothers. Get in contact with him to find out the right product that is right for you. Like I always say, it's great for joint pain, anxiety, and overall well-being. Hundreds of positive reviews at pureoxide.com and at Pure Oxide CBD. Check them out. But yeah, that's it, boys. This is the Halloween special, getting all spooky with the music.
Yeah, dark.
That was a solid plug.
Thanks, man.
I just want to give you credit on that.
I guess it's first time Tanner.
It's been a while. I didn't even know you had sponsors now.
Yeah, I was thinking that as I was saying. I was like, I wonder if Tanner even knows that we got the CBD guys helping us out. But yeah, it's really good stuff. They've been helping us out for I think 3 or 4 months now. So
solid, man.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. But good to have Tanner back in the Halloween special. Like I said, we got the spooky music. Episode 60 of the Roundtable. We're not really going to get into much current events for pro wrestling this week. It's kind of going to be Halloween memories. Some wrestling Halloween memories, maybe some things that have happened on Raw and SmackDown in the past that are Halloween related and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. What are some of your guys just favorite Halloween memories when you think of it? Being a kid and all that kind of stuff. What about you, Michael or Jason?
Man, where could I start with this one? You want to know something crazy? Actually, I'll drop an interesting one for you. I don't know if you would have the same on this, but I've never been a wrestler for Halloween or any wrestling related costume when I think about it now.
Neither have I.
Yeah, never.
That's crazy. The casual fan here, I was Hulk Hogan one year.
Oh shit!
No way! That's all. And I did not know that either. What year was that, Tanner? Because I feel like
I don't know, man. I was probably 12.
Oh, okay, so it was when you were real young. I wasn't sure if it was a high school thing.
No.
Because I definitely. I wasn't watching much wrestling through high school in those years of going to parties and whatnot, but. Mm-hmm. I think part of it, honestly, man, is you're not gonna wear trunks to a party.
Yeah, but
not very often. Maybe.
Well, at a party,
not every guy
going out in the cold. Fuck that.
Well, that's what I mean. Or even trick or treating as a kid. You're not really gonna be.
That's something I remember trick or treating when I was a kid and all that. How cold it was all the time, and sometimes you had to wear a jacket or a hoodie over your costume, and you'd be so upset, ruin the whole thing, right?
Yeah, you got this dope costume, and you just get completely, ruined.
Damn, would you remember if you were NWO Hulk Hogan or red and yellow Hulk Hogan?
That's a good question. I think I was just red and yellow, classic.
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 That's crazy that we haven't been any wrestlers.
Well, I think it's for me. It's definitely got to do with the fact that I didn't watch wrestling at the time when you're spending the most amount of time on your costumes. I think.
True.
Yeah.
Which would be from 13 to and up.
I got no excuse because I don't know, since I was fucking 2 or 3, I've been
Yeah,
had
you've been a
steady
wrestling fan.
Periods of wrestling.
Yeah, so you've been into it for a while. That's
Yeah.
me. I think I just picked the costume because it looked cool at that age. You know what I mean?
It's a good one.
I went out as 1 year as McDonald's fries.
That's,
Literally.
I feel like I remember you doing that.
Yeah.
That's a good costume.
Yeah.
Do you have like maybe top 5, top 3, some of your guys' favorites you can remember from the past?
Like costume wise?
Yeah.
Like favorite?
Yeah.
Well, McDonald's fries is definitely on there.
That's definitely up there. And Hulk
Oh.
Hogan too, man. Like, geez.
Yep.
The casual fan, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh man, I can't remember his name, and I'm apparently a Star Wars fan.
Vader?
No. Ma.
Oh, you went as did you have the double?
I did have the double edged
And the face paint and everything?
I didn't have the face paint. It was just a cheap plastic mask.
Okay, but you had the mask.
I remember it was so hot and sweaty in there. Oh,
Yeah.
you guys ever have those?
Oh,
Those latex masks.
you want to talk about hot and sweaty in a mask, man? I think I can take the cake on that one because I know I was Scream or Ghostface. I don't know what you want to call them.
Yeah,
The Scream movies. I was that character at least 3 times as a kid. From the ages of like 9 to 14, I was Scream at least 3 times, and I know I was Jason at least once.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I was ever any other serial killer, but I was definitely Scream 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, I think me and you might have
we went together.
We were
actually.
both Scream, or I
Yeah.
might have been Jason and you were Scream. But yeah, I don't know. Some of those, don't mind some of that static, guys. I know the listeners won't be able to hear it, but it's kind of just coming back for us, so don't mind it. But I don't know. I had a list of, I thought about it this week. I figured, well, let's get into kind of our own stuff now, and then we'll get into some of the wrestling stuff after that. Don?
Well, I got a few here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is a classic one in the teenage, maybe going into the teen years, the later years. The classic hobo. Was anybody ever a hobo?
The hobo.
I wasn't.
Stick in
It
the
was an
bandana
easy
bag?
costume.
It was an easy costume. You just got a tatty
Wear
clothes.
some dirty clothes and
What do you mean, like the stick in like the bandana backpack?
Probably
on the
honestly
shoulder?
just not really dressing up too much. Put a little bit of scruff on your face.
Honestly,
makeup
I've
kinda
never
thing.
seen that.
Really?
I didn't even think that was a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a big.
I'm not
thing.
even kidding.
I've definitely seen
What?
that.
Yeah,
I've
man.
definitely seen people just be a hobo.
Yeah, because
before.
it's easy. Just what are you? I'm a hobo.
You wear baggy clothes and put some dirt on your brown makeup on your forehead and on your cheeks and shit, and you're kind of just
Wear some raggedy
Do
clothing.
you know what hobos originally were, or how they
like how the
originated?
name
Yeah.
hobo started. No.
Well, I don't actually know how the name came to be, but hobos were people that travel town to town on the train tracks looking for work, right? Cheap labor. Yeah, there's a misconception. People just think they're homeless people.
Yeah.
But he was a homeless person for Halloween.
Oh, is that what you were talking about?
Well, you were,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, he was a homeless
Yeah.
person.
All
for
right, so you
Halloween.
weren't a hobo then.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same, I guess.
No.
But I like not
No.
like I guess the official term, like you said, was that
Yeah,
person
hobos,
traveling
yeah.
from
Yeah.
town.
And they
to-
would usually use, just trains.
I don't think that's what Donovan was, going for
No.
when he was a
So
little
he
kid.
had the misconception too. Well,
But-
I hate to sound bad, but
Yeah,
why would you want to dress up as a homeless person on Halloween?
This was. I'm trying to think of the age. I was a little bit older.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Easy.
definitely something that'd be accepted back in the day, but now people get so offended so easily by things.
That's a good point. I'd be very curious.
That is a
I
good
wonder
point.
if kids in the maybe grade 7, 6, let's say 6 to 8
Now?
range, I wonder if they're doing the hobo. I wonder
Like
if the hobo's still
I
around.
didn't even know that was a thing.
See, that blows my
Yeah.
mind. The fact that Tanner hadn't heard of it, because I never dressed up as a hobo. Shout out to our boy Hurdy. I feel like he did it at least once when
Yeah.
we were younger. But I knew a bunch of people that did that as a costume, and it was because, like what he said, it was one of those just like, oh, this is an easy one. I got my brother's old sweater and whatever. It's two sizes too big and shit like that. So
I got some better ones here.
Yeah.
Ones that'll make
Yeah,
you laugh
yeah.
too. So this one is classic. Man, you guys remember the Chrissy O'Donnell Robin from the Batman
Yeah.
Robin, Mr. Freeze?
oh
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
I loved him. I don't know why. Like I wasn't really into Batman, but I was always into that version of Robin.
yeah.
So I was one year. Yeah, dude.
I
love the
that.
tights.
Well, that's the one. That's
did you go with the tights?
no, dude. That's actually the movie that has the bat nipples.
Oh,
That's actually the movie that,
yeah, it is.
where Clooney's got the nipples on his suit.
They literally have plastic nips pointing out. Yeah.
Anyway,
So I was probably, I don't know, 10, 11 maybe at the
no.
time. But
Oh, no.
I was that Robin, man. Not the brighter Robin, the dark. It was the
dark.
darker suit,
Yeah.
nice muscly fucking.
kind of a cross
Yeah.
between
Oh,
Robin
so you
and
didn't have like the tights on.
No.
Good.
No, little mask.
No,
I had the
this
same
is-
haircut, short hair, right?
Yeah.
He had the short little.
Look that up on your phone while we're talking here. Type in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, here.
Because it's that movie, the one with Mr. Freeze, and I know exactly what you're. It's the one that had the girl
with
the
Arnold.
Girl.
Arnold's playing with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, and it has that chick. I can't.
Poison
remember.
Ivy.
No, well, yeah, that was Uma Thurman was playing Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
But there was a chick that played Batgirl. I can't remember her.
Oh, I can't remember the actress.
She was from like some Family Channel show or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I did Super Mario in grade 9.
I remember you and Mike Walsh.
Yeah, shout out to him. I don't know, not that he's listening, but that
Maybe he is.
maybe you never know. That would be cool. That'd be shout out to if he is. Hey Mike, what's up? But yeah, we went in grade 9. Me and my buddy Mike, taller guy. I was the shorter one with the big brown or black eyebrows, so I had to be Mario.
You pulled off Mario fantastic.
Yeah, we won the costume contest.
Oh yeah, in the cafeteria. I remember that.
In grade 9, yeah, and that was. But I think the cool part about our costumes in grade 9 with the Super Mario stuff was the fact that we did it as if they were real. They weren't too cartoony. Like we didn't have big yellow pieces of paper as buttons.
No, you said like overall. Like,
we just wore actual overalls, and his mom made our own hats. Like they weren't like these Super Mario hats bought from Party City, and it was very custom.
Hey,
it
you put in some time and effort.
Exactly, yeah. So that was one of the good ones, but yeah, that's the.
Oh, I had an action figure.
See,
that's a cool Robin to go as. I totally had the wrong. Is this the one with Mr. Freeze?
Yep, that's the Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the movie's called
all right,
Batman
that's not that
and
bad.
Robin.
Then. I had the action figure, and I had the. No, I didn't have the Batman action figure, but I had the Robin action figure like that. And
that Robin was cool.
That is a cool Robin to go as.
No,
but
didn't he have a really cool like bike or something in that movie?
Yeah.
I thought so. And the Batgirl, I think, or she rode in the little pod on the side.
I think so.
Something shit like that. That's weird, but.
Dope. Sorry to cut you off with my Robin.
No. Makes for great content.
One more good one.
Yeah, I got a bunch that I'm gonna just
because I don't got a lot.
ring me off here.
Freddy.
Oh,
Freddy
mask or paint?
So mask. Freddy mask had the sweater, and
Like Krueger.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the claw though.
Like
the claw, man. My stepdad worked at like a steel plant.
Oh, so
So
you got
he
some legit
made me
ones.
like a legit claw. Like it was like razor sharp and everything, and I would.
He's
I had
sharp.
this-
Oh wait, I
a
think you might have
glove.
told me this once before too about the fact that it was real.
Yeah,
The claw was
it
real.
was amazing.
And how old were you? Rolling around with knives on your fingers and shit.
Probably a bit too young.
I was.
Different
I
time.
might have been 14, 15, I want to say.
yeah,
I guess
that's
older.
not. That's
Old
like
enough
grade
to-
10.
Yeah.
Grade 9.
You weren't getting bullied, that's for sure.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
no.
No kids
No.
were coming up
No.
bullying.
Did Freddy have claws on both his hands, or was it just one?
Just the one.
It was just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love when you ask Freddie too. Like, no, is it Mercury?
Fuck off.
Oh, could you imagine?
That would have been good. I was a boxer one year, kind of going back to the wrestler thing.
Oh, nice.
And I remember, I think back to this now, it's the stupidest thing. I think I wore like 8 pairs of boxers because I was going to be cold. And and I was thinking like, oh, like more layers. It's like, dude, you're wearing fucking boxers. You're going to be cold either way.
Yeah, the wind's getting up there no matter what.
So I wore boxers, and then I bought a robe, like a big bathroom robe. And then I had boxing gloves, and I painted
was it a silk robe at least?
I can't remember.
It
I
had to
don't
be. If
think
you went
so.
out there with some cotton robe, you just look like you got out of the bathroom.
That's what I think it probably did, because I was wearing boxers too, right? So it's like
That's great.
it was more like the bathroom boxer, I guess. It would have been a better
man.
description. But yeah, so then I put the black eye. I think that was probably like when I was like 14. I'm not really sure. That was another good one. Super Mario was one of my favorite ones. One of the funnier ones, I guess I could say, I thought of this when I was thinking of the names at work when I was writing them all down, was in high school, we went to a house party. I think we were in grade 12. And it was very last minute. Like the party had been planned for a while, but we were all like, oh yeah, we don't know if we're going to go. And then we decided we were going to go, and nobody had a costume. So we all had white t-shirts and jeans.
Okay.
So we all wrote "those guys" on the t-shirts, and there was 4 of us, and we were just those guys. And we
should
just
have went as the greasers or something.
we just figured it was like, when you're at a party, and you're like, oh, who are those guys? And that's what
I
we
see what
were,
you did there,
because
yeah.
we were at a party where it wasn't like, it was kind of half of another school, like it was kind of 2 school type thing.
Yeah.
Like other people that we didn't see on a regular basis. So it was kind of like, oh, who were those guys? And it was just 4 guys with white shirts that said "those guys."
That's fucking hilarious.
So yeah, so that was one of the funnier ones. I can't find it now when we're live recording or whatever, but I have a picture, shout out to Sarah Duncan, somebody we went to high school with, of me and her in that t-shirt that just says "those guys," wearing a baseball hat, jeans, and a white t-shirt. But yeah.
This is hitting me now. It's coming back to
No,
me,
this
actually,
is
as we're-
fun
as
to
we're-
do.
As we're talking about it. I know when I was younger, I was definitely the White Ranger from the Power Ranger movie.
No way.
Yeah,
Like
because
with the silk little costume, or
The
like-
gold too, and like
yeah,
the gold mix
like,
on
here, I
it.
got
Yeah.
he was the coolest.
got a photo. of
Him or the
there,
green
so-
one?
Yeah, like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see that.
Yeah, maybe not that exact costume.
I
but-
gotta bring it super
I know
close.
the one you're talking
I didn't
about.
talk about the fact that I'm dressed up like Easy E right now, and I've got super dark sunglasses.
You could
that,
just take them off.
that I can't say. No, but I can. It's the full immersion
That's
of the
dedication.
the
You'd be a
the
great cosplayer.
the Halloween special here. You know, I'm sure you can see in the picture. But yeah, that's a White Ranger is definitely the best of the Rangers.
I feel like I might have been another one like the year before or the year like I feel like I did a couple of Power Ranger stints.
It was kind of like my
I really like the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
he's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I gotta be honest. Again, now we're getting on a Power Rangers topic. But
Yeah.
I definitely liked the old fashioned red guy when I was a kid.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he was a classic one.
Like,
you
he's-
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just like the one that kind of everybody liked, I think. And I liked the green one too, but the green switched. Because there was different. I think there was a chick that was the Green Ranger at one point, and then it switched. I think it was a dude at one point, but I don't know. Shout out to Power Rangers. I always loved the, it was called Power Rangers Turbo. And it was like cars. So each of them had a car that they drove.
Yeah.
And it was like a special Power Rangers car. And then instead of like,
Like the cars were incorporated into every episode.
it was either that or it was a movie. I think it was a movie. Similar
That
to
would make more sense.
to the
yeah.
Power Rangers movie where they all had a different dinosaur.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Same idea, except for they all had like a different SUV type car thing. It was pretty, and I loved cars obviously as a kid. Shout out to the F1 update and whatnot coming later with me and Phil, and yeah, so that was super cool because they did the same sort of thing where it came into like one giant car. They all like melded.
Yeah.
in.
It's kind
I
of
don't
like Voltron.
Look at exactly. Look it up.
I remember
Power
the,
Rangers Turbo.
I remember the name of it, but I can't think of the
I have it on DVD, so if you want to borrow it, I can send it your way.
All right.
Oh man.
I was a hockey player last year. I don't know how long we keep talking about our costumes, but some of the other ones, that was just basic. I wanted to go out with my little brothers and sisters and
I was solid to you.
actually trick or treat with them, so I threw my helmet on,
Yeah.
painted my eye black, and grabbed a pair of hockey gloves.
Yeah, gives you a good excuse to go get some candy.
That too.
But because if you're going solo dolo, you're not getting anything. They're gonna tell you to get off their porch. But if you're
Yeah,
going with your
at 26 years old, I don't expect to be getting
Yeah.
candy given to
hey
me.
man, I think I'll tell you this much: if if someone came to my door and they were 26, 27 or older or whatnot, and they want some candy, man, and they dressed up, it's good costume. I'm gonna give them candy.
Yeah, if there was some
Right.
dedication put into it,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd.
So you're telling me right now, I show up in front of somebody's house with this 40-ouncer and these
Well, you
glasses and this Jerry curl.
I would give you candy. I'd be like, that's a dope ass costume.
I'd give you a props, my friend.
I would. But I don't know. I'm
Or a
the type
hug.
of person. I don't care on your age. If you want to go out and have fun and dress up, shit, you should be entitled to.
Yeah.
And if you want some candy, enjoy it.
That's a fair point. That is a very fair point.
So
I hate how we get the stereotypical basis behind. There's a certain age when you can't give candy anymore.
yeah.
Like that's
Why
not
not?
fair.
Well, the thing is too, I like I said, I feel like if there's effort into the costume and they're not just okay, because if they're a 22-year-old hobo, then I might, no, and hey, dude, like I don't know if I'm giving you candy.
Oh, they just toss on a t-shirt and like put on some crappy makeup or something.
Give me candy.
Yeah, I'm like, no, get out of here.
Oh, that was
You ain't getting
great.
shit.
22-year-old hobo.
The hobo shit.
Sorry.
Misconception, dog. You mean homeless person?
Yes, yes.
Giving hobos a bad name.
Politically incorrect.
Oh man. And then
wait.
yeah, sorry.
Question.
because I saved my best one.
Did you
for
guys
last.
mess with the pillowcase or the
Pillowcase
plastic?
every year. No,
the garbage bag.
never. No,
Ooh,
garbage bag.
Garbage bag.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Can't
No,
say.
I'm just asking.
Can't say
I'm
I
just
messed
asking.
with the garbage.
No,
I mess with the pillowcase.
Yeah,
Good.
pillowcase all the time.
You're,
Every year.
I don't know who out there used a garbage
I-
bag, but if you did,
I don't envy it.
poor planning because you know that motherfucker's gonna rip.
Yeah.
Once
And
you
everyone,
get-
I feel like everyone has a pillowcase.
most kids, if they don't,
Yeah.
they have that little pumpkin.
That thing sucked. Those things
Oh, yeah,
never
that's
work.
gone quick. That's gone within
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
15
20
10,
minutes.
you know?
First 2 years of going out trick or treating, you got that little pumpkin with the
Oh.
black handle. You walk up.
Never holds enough.
I always put 2 candies in there.
Like it works out when you're like 6 years old and just like still stumbling around walking.
That's another separate topic. Before I get my last costume.
I guess our parents would be dressing us then, right? What did our parents dress us as?
Oh, I got two big ones left that I want to talk about. One is myself, my favorite costume I ever did, and that was the Game. Shout out to the Game.
Yeah.
At Los Angeles Confidential on Instagram, my favorite rapper. And that was in 2013. I dressed up like him. It wasn't that crazy. I put a gold chain on, some red pants, and my hat, California
Your
hat.
Eazy-E costume is pretty good.
Yeah,
Even though I
thank
was
you.
confused with him being like an Italian dope slinger. But
Definitely looks pretty hood.
yeah.
And he was a dope slinger, so I hit one of the nails on the head.
Yeah.
But as far as parent costumes, I have 2 stories I want to talk about very quickly. One is probably my favorite costume that I was as a kid from my parent, Don.
I'm listening.
And this is Buzz freaking Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
Nice.
Shout out to my dad because he made me custom wings.
That's dope.
Nice.
These weren't no flimsy little...
Styrofoam that break here.
You know that... I don't know what... I think it's called polyethylene or polypropylene.
I know exactly
but it's the plastic stuff with the hole in it.
Yeah.
And it's blue. He cut it all out and he taped it and drew all the... Made it look exactly like Buzz Lightyear's wings and shit. And then I had like the, the silk, probably similar to your
White Ranger
costume with the, the silk with the tie up at the back. You get your mom to tie it up on your back of your neck. And yeah, that costume was wicked. Obviously, I didn't have the whole the whole dome and everything over my head, but that one was wicked. And that's it for like some of my favorites aside from this Eazy-E costume that I am now. But I gotta shout out my dad because my dad may have one of the best costumes that I ever heard of in my life. When he was a kid, he went as a toasted Western.
Like the sandwich?
Wait.
It's a great sandwich.
So he got 2 big pieces of styrofoam, painted them like bread, put them on either sides of him, had lettuce or whatever in the middle, sandwich, bacon, and then wore a cowboy hat, cowboy boots.
I was thinking that.
And he had guns as if he was a cowboy, and he was a toasted Western. I've always like that's something I've heard.
It's a great costume
from the time I was a kid.
You got any pictures of that?
I gotta find one because I don't know if I ever actually saw a picture of it. It probably looks better in my head than it actually did in real life. But yeah, shout out to my dad for that one because that's just a good costume that I remember, and my mom too for helping out with the Buzz costume. But that one my dad did for himself. Whew.
Good shit.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
I was shooting my mom a text to see if she remembered any of the early stuff. She doesn't. She's like, no. She's like, I don't remember. I was like, oh, come on.
What the hell?
Probably the pumpkin, the generic, that pumpkin outfit that they put most babies in.
Yeah.
I was a clown once.
Really?
I was dressed up as. I remember the wig being so itchy.
Yeah, I can relate to that right now.
I was looking at it. I was looking at Donna over here, and I was looking at the back of your hair there with that fake wig, and I was like, that's probably so itchy. It just looks itchy.
It's not the greatest, but it's a Jerry curl, and I gotta support it. So I got my 40 ounce. I got the Jerry curl. I got my gloves. I got my Easy Does It and my
hit that drop.
That's
solo.
my album. It's by myself, solo.
And that's it. It's by myself. One more time.
That's my album. It's by myself, solo.
That's it right there.
Oh shit, I'm dying right now.
Right there. But that's most of my Halloween memories. Unless you guys have a little bit more, we can kind of get into a few wrestling Halloween memories of our own and stuff
I'm just
that's happened.
curiously trying to think about like when our parents dressed us, before we started deciding what we wanted to be as.
I know another one I just remember now, and it was because my parents were together, so obviously they dressed me because I was only 4. Batman. I went as Batman, and I had the whole puffy chest and everything. Like I remember I had the big, tits or whatever they were, foam tits and foam abs.
Yeah.
And the plastic mask. I think I don't know. It might not have been. It might have been a cloth mask.
Ooh, what?
Yeah, I think it was.
Those were a thing?
Well, this was probably 1997, 96.
They had plastic.
You're
talking like we're going back to...
But I'm just saying, the cheap, quick, easy Batman
Mm-hmm.
masks probably weren't as easy to
I don't even know if I've
across.
ever gone as a superhero. I went as Spider-Man. One year.
Spider-Man.
Cancel that. I'm sure we all have gone as Spider-Man.
You know what's funny?
Some type of superhero. What's that?
Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and I've never went as Spider-Man. But you saying that you went as Spider-Man just sparked another memory of a costume that I wore in grade 10, and I could find costumes probably on Facebook if I don't even want to see them, but they're there. I went as Superman in grade 10, slicked my hair back and everything. Had the curly, well, it looked like this friggin' Jerry curl, but my own hair, slicked back. And it was weak, though, because it was like that Superman costume that looks like a onesie.
Like the classic.
Oh,
I know exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like the same as the Power Ranger and the Buzz
That's
thing.
good for grade 10, though. You don't want to be going as a hardcore, dedicated Superman guy. Tights on, spandex, pulling that tight all around.
Hey, you never know. Might have helped with the ladies.
There you go.
You never know.
I don't know. That would help your situation. No, I'm just teasing.
It might have. You never know. But shout out to our boy Turcotte, because I know that that party took place at his house. So
Speaking of the older age of Halloween parties and stuff, I remember one in I want to say 2009, 2010. I went as like a mad...
Yeah, that'd be grade 12 for us, grade 11.
yeah.
Yeah. I went as a mad scientist.
That's a good... I love that
That's
costume.
a really good costume.
I
Did
love
you
that
spike
costume.
your... Oh, you didn't have hair.
Oh, no, I had a
at that
wig. I had like some gray, trippy...
Like Einstein wig?
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Doc Brown, Back to the
Glasses.
Future type thing.
Coat. And just, it was crazy. I was the crazy scientist.
You were zany.
Yeah.
Hey.
I feel like it's a solid costume.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good one.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Can you guys definitively say, maybe to round off our costume memorabilia and costume nostalgia, maybe not memorabilia, nostalgia, is there a number one, like your favorite that you wore in your life?
I enjoyed it all. As long as I was getting candy and filling that pillowcase, I was happy.
That's all that mattered.
Yeah.
Give me a mask and a pillowcase.
When this is all said and done, dude, it might be this one.
The one you're currently...
Because I've always wanted to do Micheal Myers, and I just never have.
You pulled it off great.
Yeah, you've done a really good job.
You had that, like, creepy stare.
The
that
eyes.
You can see. That's the only thing you can really see in the movies is his eyes.
And
right?
you scared the shit out of me half an hour before we hit record in my house. So I'll give you credit. You did a really good job with
you
that
held
one.
it, but
I wish I had the Micheal Myers theme. I don't have that here.
That's what
for
it's
you.
all about.
What about wrestling? We want to get into a little bit of wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
I figure we have to. At least me, man.
Yeah, same.
My favorite match of all time.
oh,
took place at Halloween Havoc.
Oh yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
96?
Yeah.
96?
I believe so.
I think it was 96. Everybody knows that match with the Rey Mysterio in the purple gear and Eddie with the long hair. Classic match. I wanted to know, were you watching or did you know of that pay-per-view as a kid?
Halloween Havoc, a little bit, yeah, because of the video. I had a couple WCW video games that I played, so I remember the set, and I remember always thinking, like, how fucking cool that was.
That they did a pay-per-view based around Halloween?
Yeah, man.
And I really thought the WWE was going to bring that back when they got the rights to, having, Clash of Champions and all the Starcast, or not Starcast, didn't they do a Star one?
Starcade.
Starcade, they did it, and it was like a house show.
Yep.
So I thought they were going to bring that. Do you have like a favorite Halloween match like that? Similar to that, or no? Like a Halloween Havoc something, I mean. Like, I don't know how much you remember from that pay-per-view. It's probably
Halloween Havoc's
bringing it back.
No, I don't. Not off the top of my head. Favorite Halloween wrestling kind of related match? Not particularly. No.
I got another one this one's probably more for both of you.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite non-lucha wrestling mask? Because I feel like that kind of relates more to Halloween. Obviously, lucha would too, but lucha masks are not always associated with Halloween. They are a tradition of Mexican culture. It's something that's a staple of their culture. It's not a Halloween
when you think
thing.
about it, a lot of the wrestlers that do wear masks, most of them are luchador.
They are, but you can...
They have a wide diversity, actually. I don't know. First one that comes to my mind is like Kane's.
Yeah, pretty... I mean, and he's got two different ones, right? You've got the black and red one from
That's the one I can
from
think
the
of.
past that kind of had the mouth more covered up.
Yep.
I think he had a tough time breathing with it, and that's one of the reasons that they removed it in the first place. And then when he did bring the mask back, he had one that was a lot more...
Was there a nose hole on it or no?
There was a little nose hole and a tiny little
mouth
rectangle for his mouth. And then he took the mask off in what, Don? Like 04, 05?
Yep.
Maybe 3. And then...
And he just had the eyepieces, right? Kind of like...
No, he just had nothing. Like, he took no mask.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, before he did that, he had the one with the mouth. With the mouth open.
Oh.
Like he had the because I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, that I don't remember. Okay. Yeah. So that, and then he took it off, and then when he brought the mask back in like 2013 or whatever it was with Daniel Bryan, his mask was way more like open like that in the sense that you could see kind of, all of that area.
And the face looked...
The bottom half of his face for the people listening, everybody.
That one's actually really good.
That was Nick's
That's
beard
like more
crunching too.
Yeah.
More like the current mask that he wears.
Yeah.
Like
What's the one? Yeah, what's the one that you see like the last couple of years? That's the one that really sticks. It has like the red.
It's very red.
Yeah, but
And
it's black.
I know what you mean. It looks like the skin is drooping or like over like layers, wrinkly.
That's the one that I can think of that comes to me. But that's my number one right off the bat. But
that one is very Halloween-y.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, Don, because it's been a while since Tanner's been on the show, I can almost guarantee.
Oh yeah. I know where you're going with this.
Tanner does not know who the Fiend is, or what the Fiend's mask looks like, or the character of the Fiend. So maybe in coming weeks in the future, we can have Tanner back on. We'll get him to maybe pop in for a SmackDown.
Has there been much character development in the last half a year?
It depends.
Where's Becky at? Where's my girl at?
She's still rocking it with the championship.
Oh, she's holding it down.
She's still got that title. She's been going through people, but this is the Fiend.
Oh, whoa, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is what...
It's a mask he has on.
Yes, so this is what Bray Wyatt has become.
Oh, what? Yes.
Yeah. So Bray Wyatt...
So he went on that weird, vegan hippie type of thing, and then he became like a psychopath.
No, that's Daniel Bryan.
Oh, wow.
Bray Wyatt's the Wyatt family, like the guy with the.
I'm the casual fan. Remember that,
Oh,
guys.
of course, everybody knows that. Anybody who's listened to our shows in the past, at least.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt was the one who came out with the lantern and all the fireflies.
Yeah, he was part of the Wyatt family.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I like the reimagined characters that they did for him, and it fits because he's playing an eerie character before all the time. So,
but
here, I honestly wish it was Daniel Bryan though
doing that would be amazing.
Yeah, because you just would have went total self.
Way more jarring. The difference with that and kind of the mask I want to explain is he doesn't dress like that all the time. Most of the time, he looks like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
and he has a kids' TV show.
So this is like his like alter ego.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Boogeyman type of.
Not the Boogeyman, the wrestler. I don't know about.
No, who's the wrestler that comes out always like only has pay-per-views?
Oh, Finn Balor coming out like the demon.
Yeah.
Similar, but that was more babyface coming out to kind of be rah.
Yeah,
like,
so he's got his like TV show, Mr. Rogers, good man for the most time. But when you see the Fiend come out,
exactly,
it's like shit. You better watch out.
So like he'll come out and it's this whole Firefly Funhouse is what it's called, and they've got all
Firefly
Funhouse. Yeah, and there's like a jingle and music and everything. I'll show you later. Yeah. But that's another one that obviously Donovan sticks out as far as wrestling masks.
I like what they did with that character though, because he was kind of stuck in a weird position when they broke up that Wyatt family.
Totally.
And he didn't do much there.
No, they did it in the early days, but yeah, you're right. In the time that you were watching, and even the time I was watching, the Wyatt family didn't really do a whole lot.
Well, when it was broken up or they disbanded it essentially, I just feel like he was in a really weird spot. He was just stuck, and that's got to be one of the best reimagining or reconstruction of characters I've ever even seen in WWE.
If I could go back and bring you back and have you watch anything as far as wrestling goes in the last 6 months, it would be to watch the progression of the Fiend Bray Wyatt from probably 5 months ago, whenever he first debuted in the Firefly Funhouse.
Firefly Funhouse, I like that.
And to now fighting Seth Rollins and stuff. But he debuted actually at SummerSlam when I was there, so his music hit, and it's kind of like a screamo version of that old Firefly song that he had before.
You went to SummerSlam?
Yeah. SummerSlam was in Toronto, yeah.
Oh, you went, this year?
Yeah. I went to the SummerSlam was on the NXT.
You go to Donna?
He went to SmackDown with me on the Tuesday. So I skipped NXT this time because you came with us actually last time. So I skipped NXT because I don't watch too much NXT anymore. I went to SummerSlam on the Sunday. NXT was obviously on the Saturday. And then I went to Monday Night Raw. Shout out to Clayton from the Stringers podcast, who we were on back in February. I went with my buddy Clayton downtown to that show. Seats were amazing. Again, shout out to him. And then on the Tuesday night, myself, Donovan, Sammy, Donovan's girlfriend, and Sammy's girlfriend all went to SmackDown Live at Scotiabank Arena.
So what, you just soloed SummerSlam?
Yeah, I just soloed SummerSlam. It was long, and I was way up high, and WWE proceeded to shine lights in our faces for most of the show.
Oh, no.
So that part wasn't the best, but the show itself was really good.
Yeah.
Aside from Seth Rollins winning the championship from Brock Lesnar in the very end, I just wasn't about it.
Oh,
so
I like that.
Everybody was very...
You want Lesnar to win? He always wins.
Lesnar, well, he already was the champ. He beat... It was a long story. Seth beat Brock at Mania for the belt, and then Brock came back with the briefcase.
Yeah, we'll be here all night if you try to explain the last 6 months.
He got it back, and then Seth won it back at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Didn't have to low blow him like he did at Mania.
On the topic of Halloween and spooky wrestlers,
I want to get back
like
to that.
Man, Papa Shango, okay? So I'm going to
Papa
show you.
Shango.
I'm going to show Tanner this guy.
Yes.
As a kid, man, like he was around when I was a kid, but
Freaky.
as a kid, he scared the shit out of me.
He's like some voodoo witch doctor type of deal going on
and
there.
He had creepy music, and he did like really creepy stuff, put fucking voodoo spells
Very good
on
character,
people,
though. I love the name Papa Shango.
Yeah.
It is a really good name.
That sticks in your head.
Yeah, man.
And he wrestled what, in WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier days?
At the time, yeah.
Before
But yeah.
World Wildlife Foundation.
Dude, when I was like five, like I did not like him. I was not a fan.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just scared you.
The fuck out of me.
Do you want to look up one more for me, Don?
Yeah.
I want to show Tanner who the Shockmaster is, because that might be one of my favorite, obviously, masks in the history of professional wrestling.
It's a pretty dope name.
It's
something you make when you're like 8 years old.
He's got a dope name. I wouldn't quite say the wrestler's very dope, but the mask. Fuck, I'm just waiting for Tanner to see. So this is the Shockmaster.
It's just a stormtrooper helmet, like bejeweled essentially.
Exactly. So obviously huge Star Wars fan.
This was WWF?
Yep.
And they let this happen.
Or was it WCW?
I think it was WCW actually.
It might have been WCW, yeah. Either way, yeah, they let it go down.
Yeah, WCW.
And it's. I wish I could show you the video, but there's a famous moment where he makes his debut.
Yeah.
And he's like supposed to debut, and then he falls, and the fucking
it's not planned at all.
Yeah, and the mask falls off, and it's this whole like shit show of an event. So anytime you talk about a mask that isn't lucha, I have to bring up.
I'm surprised Lucasfilms let that happen.
Yeah, maybe they didn't know.
I don't know. Fair.
They might not have known.
I feel like they were not as strict on copyright infringement.
Back then,
like
probably
now
not.
they
no.
are.
No.
Another spooky, creepy kind of thing, man, was definitely for me, Mankind. Like Mick Foley as Mankind when he first came in.
Yeah.
He was creepy. Because he used to cut these promos
where he would, oh yeah.
Well, you didn't see him for so long.
Oh my god!
But for building into it, like you didn't see him. He was in the dark, and you just kind of you didn't know what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, and then when he did debut, he had this creepy music, and he limped, and he had this hunchback, and would rip out his hair. So, dude, like you know what I mean? As a kid, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I watching?
It'd be scary.
Yeah. What about Boogeyman? We have to bring up Boogeyman. We're getting to the ending of this kind of Halloween special, but we got to bring up the Boogeyman in a couple little matches as well. Because Boogeyman, to me, might be the most, if not Papa Shango, Halloween centric character. Maybe a little The Fiend, too, with his
I got one more.
clown pants and stuff. But, Boogeyman, shout out to him. I watched him debut. I know everyone outside of wrestling who hasn't watched a lot of wrestling has always been enthralled with the fact that he's actually eating worms and putting worms on people, and it's just disgusting. So, I mean, yeah, it is. But
yeah, I always loved the presentation of his entrance, his look, his paint
music,
looks super cool. The music, the smoke, the movements he does. I never watched him live. I always thought like, man, this is such a cool character. Dude, and like in a video game sense, I used to play as him in the video games and stuff. I was like, there's something you could have done so much cool things with this guy as a character. But do
you remember when he stopped? Or like I know he's popped up here and there, like to come back for WWE, but I know
he did. He had a very short run, man, in the main stay of things, as far as I remember. And then he would kind of just pop up here and there. But yeah, man, Boogeyman, awesome one.
what was the one you
Well, he's just a classic, I feel like, and especially the first version of him, he was pretty creepy. The early Undertaker, the very first Undertaker was pretty creepy.
Okay, one sec. I gotta play this.
All right.
I got it. Oh shit.
I'm excited for it, whatever it is. But yeah, man, early Undertaker, another one, good one.
One of the better ones.
Pale skin, the gray gloves, the hat low. Paul Bear, man, too. Shout out to shout out to Paul Bear with the Undertaker.
Yeah,
really added to it.
You know what other version you want to talk about Undertaker is that Ministry of Darkness, kind of when he took over Stephanie McMahon and that whole era.
Yep.
Very freaky too. Less dead man, I guess. Less zombie.
Yep.
More cult leader.
More cult, yeah, for sure.
Because that shit was freaky too. But yeah, here, I gotta play this for you. One sec.
The Boogeyman?
Yeah. Of course. Like how fucked is that music?
That's pretty trippy.
Shout out to the Boogeyman and the Halloween music. But yeah, I wanted to talk quickly. I guess that's kind of like good for Halloween characters. Just a few Halloween matches. We have some trick or street fights that have happened in the past, which I wish I never saw. Matches that, took place on Halloween. SmackDown fell on a Halloween, Raw fell on a Halloween, and let's have, our match on Halloween. I think it's happened a couple times, or maybe once in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Where we got that trick or street fight between, I think it was Dean Ambrose and Cesaro on one of the shows there.
The pumpkins.
But another one that isn't necessarily a Halloween show, but it, to me will forever be, put with a Halloween style match is the Ambrose Y2J Asylum match.
Oh, yeah.
When they had that match in the black steel cage with the barbed wire. I think there was barbed wire. I don't know if
weapons on the top,
weapons hanging from the top, and there was stuff, put into the cage here and there. I thought that match was cool at the time. for being different. The match itself wasn't very good. I remember after we talked about it, and it wasn't that awesome of a match. It was like, what the fuck was that? But it was like, at least they're trying something different here. They're taking a cage match and they're tweaking it a little bit here and adding some stuff there. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. And bringing up the fact that it's very a Halloween style match.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think they brought back the old thumbtacks in that one too.
Yes, they did. Jericho took the thumbtack bump. You're right. Oof. Funny enough, the two AEW, more or less top guys right now in the company. Two guys that were having that match there. I also just wanted to shout out the Benoit Angle thing that we saw there on YouTube. I didn't watch that live, but Benoit and Angle fighting backstage.
I must have.
Yeah, you were watching at the time, so you would have seen that.
Yeah, I must have.
I don't know. But yeah, any other memories from you guys for the Halloween special? It's the first time we've done this, so
I've covered most of them. I think some have come back to me doing the show,
Through
which
the
is
show.
cool too.
Yeah, it was actually nice and very nostalgic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I capitalized and said everything I needed to really say.
Yeah, that's good. So that's pretty much it for this. I'm gonna play one of Don's songs here. The intro music at the beginning of the song was one of the tracks unreleased by Donovan. So I'm gonna play that next. Following
exclusive.
Exclusive. First time ever. Following that, you'll hear the ring bell and then the car. It's going to be the F1 update with me and Phil, but we thank you for checking out the Halloween special.
Just a quick little drop on the track.
Of course.
Song's called Mike Myers. It's, it speaks for itself. Enjoy it. It's unreleased. I might drop it on Halloween on Spotify and everything with a couple other songs, maybe. But
get that plug
enjoy.
In. Just a moment ago. It's gone.
Mike Myers, I'm killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say to something like this? I'm Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say? So high, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Fly like when he gonna crash down. So up, I don't ever wanna come down. Ride through your city like it's my town. Ask for your bitch, she been down. But that pussy keep me up all night. Alright, I know they been waiting for me just to spaz on that. Body bag on that. You new rappers ain't got shit on that. And I been on that. Now what's that? You ask who I be? No ID, don't try me. Psychopath from the past. I might slash all you fags right in half. Cause I master my craft. Or just killing your ass. White mask on your bitch, no KK. You got me when I'm creeping through your house. Not a word out my mouth. I'm like Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away. What you gonna say to something like this? I'm Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say? Hey, wearing all black, white be the mask. I don't need a mag, I'll just cut your ass. You can try and run, but I'm still gonna hunt you down. Middle of the street, like fuck you on now. Mike Myers, I'm after your bitch. Mike Myers, I don't care to be rich. Killing you all, no feeling involved, the thrill that I get. I know I'm the shit. Hold up, be back, now we at it again. Mike Myers, I'm Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say to something like this? I'm Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say? Hey, down for the count, they tried to count me out, but I rose from the dead on some thriller shit. I'm still the ish, who's stopping me? You ain't popping B, let alone popping me. I show up to your property, I've been doing this so properly. Who hot as me? Not none of y'all who claim a king. I bag your ting, got bitches like that bada bing. Watching ring, I just take the whole hand while your bitch tryna slow dance. You need to get down with the program and know who the best. I'm taking your head, fuck all you niggas, I want more respect. I'm Mike Myers, killing the game, killing these rappers, make them retire. I'm Mike Myers, slashing your bitch, fuck 'em away, what you gonna say to something like this? I'm Mike Myers.
And we're back. Part 2, Halloween special.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween to everybody. I'm still here, Nick, and we got...
Honda Tech Phil. That's what we're going by now.
Yeah, we're going to use that. And Phil's going to be joining us, hopefully, if everything works out, for probably the remainder of the F1 updates for the rest of the season, the 2019 Formula 1 season. But this has been, the Halloween special, and we figured we'd chop it up into 2 parts. Me and Phil got our costumes on here. Check it out in the picture. And yeah, I don't know. Want to talk a little bit about Halloween, Phil, before we dive into this Grand Prix from this past weekend?
Fuck yeah. Why not? How about that party on the weekend?
Oh, buddy. Thank you for having me, first of all. And that Easy E costume, oh, buddy.
Spot on.
It might have been one of my favorites. I mean, I talked about, obviously, all my favorites in part 1 of this show, but after going to that party and the pictures and everything, like that Easy, I don't know. I'm not trying to big up my own wheels, but I'm happy that you had a party and you talked about the Joker costume. We'll talk about that in a second, but... you giving me the idea to kind of come and dress up and do the whole thing, and then me being so into hip-hop and choosing Easy, it all just worked out perfect. I had a great time. It was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good. It was fun. It was a good night. Unfortunate with that Joker costume, yeah.
Yeah, you ordered
Chinese shipping on 7 to 15 days, more like 7 to 15 weeks.
And still waiting.
Yep, still waiting.
Nothing now, right? Because, Halloween is today.
I haven't even checked the tracking. I'm not going to bother anymore. My heart has been broken, and at this point, I'll wait until 2020 Halloween.
Hey, well, your Slim Shady costume still, it held up.
It held up. It came out all right.
It was good. And even, shout out to our boy at work, Dan. He asked me, he's like, who's the blonde guy? And
he didn't recognize me?
At first.
Oh my God.
He's like, who's the blonde guy? And I'm like, oh, no, that's... And then he's like, oh, okay, when he looked a little closer. But, first glance, he was just like, who's that?
Yeah, Raheem said that you showed him the picture, too, so we looked good. All 3 of us and Miguel.
Yeah, everybody liked it. So, Halloween special, this episode, I figure it's good to talk about our experience with Halloween this year in 2019. And, I don't know, you got kind of some of my favorite Halloween costumes, and myself and Donovan and Tanner. Thanks again for coming back on the special, but... I don't know. Is there anything I figured before me and you dive into Halloween? I didn't know if there was any memories or anything from you. Maybe a favorite costume as a kid.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely thought of something. I'll keep out the Batman story. We'll keep that. That's not PG-13.
Leave that for Look Back After Dark.
Yeah, After Dark. But actually, I mentioned this to you, dressing up as Jeff Hardy one time.
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
That was probably the biggest memory I have from wrestling, and also just in Halloween, because this was during school, elementary school. I remember people always asking me, what are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to be?
Yeah.
I'm Jeff Hardy. Like the investigator? Like Hardy brother investigator? No, I'm the fucking wrestler.
Like the kids' books.
I'll do a backflip off the top freaking ropes, bro. Watch me.
Give me a swanton bomb. And those nets on your arms, you said, I think you told me you borrowed them from your sister and
stuff?
my
sister had those sleeves, so I just pulled them up to my elbows, and
that's
I'm pretty sure I just wore some baggy pants and double X shirt, but for me, it was all about it. I was so happy, and it was a great time for me.
Dude, it's perfect that you said that, because, in part 1, we talked about our favorite costumes, too, and Tanner's kind of like you, and not a massive pro wrestling fan, watched a little bit as a young kid. And me and Donovan talked about how, everybody listening now knows, they just heard this, but we talked about how we had never been a wrestler. In our big wrestling fans, grow up, never been a wrestler.
Crazy.
For Halloween in our entire life. And the 2 people that are on the show this week as guests, you and Tanner, have both been wrestlers as in the past, because Tanner talked about being Hulk Hogan previous, and then now you talking about Jeff Hardy. So that's pretty wicked. I don't know. It's cool that wrestling obviously was that big back then. And the last thing I was going to say, as far as going to school and whatnot, obviously we know now that you went to public school, because I wasn't allowed to wear no costumes to school when I was a kid.
No, man, I was Catholic school.
Oh, really? And they let you wear the...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
That was when I was living in Pickering still, though.
No way. Because I went to Catholic, not that I'm very practicing Catholic, but I went to Catholic school, and we were never allowed to wear costumes to school. It was always the whole black and orange day, guys.
Oh, geez, really?
We have to wear black pants and orange t-shirts or orange whatever. That was it. We got black and orange day.
The one thing they didn't allow us was masks, so you weren't allowed to have a mask, which I'm pretty sure is still standard now.
That makes perfect sense.
It is what it is. I get it.
I remember...
Didn't need a mask for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, I guess now you might have had face paint if you were doing the
Jeff. I would have done that again. Sweet.
Definitely. His face paint now is amazing, but I remember grade 9 and being so excited because I could finally wear a costume to school for the first time, and it was just a big deal. But
I never dressed up in high school, though. That's the funny part. That kind of just...
I'm trying to remember if I dressed up any year other than grade 9. I might have worn I don't even know, a hockey helmet or something and said I was a hockey player. I'm trying to think. I honestly don't think I did. I know grade 9, I talked about it, obviously, in part 1 again with the Mario and Luigi. Me and my buddy did Mario and Luigi. We won the competition in the cafeteria.
That's pretty sweet. I remember being a firefighter in like grade 1 or 2 and walking through the halls, and and all the older kids were just making fun of me because of my shoes, because there were like rubber costume over my boots, so I just looked like I had like massive clown feet. So that was like a kind of a traumatizing moment, I guess you could say. But
From Halloween?
Yeah, walking through the hallways thinking like I'm top shit because I'm a firefighter, but then hearing all these kids just laughing, and it was like, what the fuck?
It was at that moment there that Phil decided, no,
I'm not going to be a firefighter.
I will never be a fireman. Oh, that's good. But yeah, I don't know. Good memories and stuff from Halloween. And I mean, most of this Halloween special stuff has been taking place in part 1, but I figure Halloween is today and me and you are here to do the F1 update. Why not?
Why not?
Get some of our Halloween memories off and out into the airwaves, as they say.
The morning after the party, though, was a little rough, but at least we had something to look forward to, though.
That's what you're perfect segue, my friend, because we finished off our drinking and me and my 40 ounce or Easy shut them out. And we wake up a little tired. Shout out to you for the McDonald's breakfast. And we sit down. We get ready to watch the old Mexican Grand Prix there. And it was a nice time for us in North America for once.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I enjoy getting up in the super early in the morning and watching. I also enjoy when you came over last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was,
Japan.
The last race for Japan. You know, we stay up all night and we watch it. Super fun. But this was kind of nice to wake up at 10 o'clock. I stayed at your house. Thanks again for the hospitality. And, you know, it was just nice to know, like, all right, we can wake up, we can chill, we can go have a smoke, whatever, relax, and then the race, the pre-show is going to start.
Yeah.
It's not till, I think it started at like 1:30 in the afternoon for us.
Yeah.
So, you know, not that we have too many, you know, UK listeners or European or outside of, you know, North America listeners, but we don't get that too often. So we appreciate when we get these last couple races of the year, you know, Canada earlier, and then what do we have? Mexico, USA, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi's back in the morning. But, you know, Mexico, USA, Brazil, and Canada, we only get 4 of 21 races that are at a normal
afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was nice. But yeah, this is the F1 update. So it's time to get into the Mexico Grand Prix.
Let's do it.
I might as well do my points update for this week, since I do it every week. Hamilton with 363 points, Bottas with 289 points, and Leclerc with 236. Lewis managed to win the race this weekend. A little unexpected coming into it. I don't think any of us thought Mercedes was going to take it this weekend. At least not me. With the 2 Ferraris and the 2 Red Bulls and those 4 cars being there, and Red Bull winning the last 2 and Ferrari being so good in a straight line, obviously I was cheering for them. Mercedes, that being said. But I wasn't penciling it in as far as a victory this week.
Again, Mercedes comes out with a strategy, so...
That's not what Ferrari does. We know that. So.
Let's just throw the race. But no, that's another point there. But we spoke about this as Lewis being able to maintain his tires, though. And that's exactly what he did. He had doubt at first, but you could see that he felt more and more confident going through later and later.
Yeah, that's what won him the race. I mean, the strategy obviously to stick on to the one stop and preserve the tires till the end of the race. That's obviously what separated him from Leclerc, and I think Vettel was on a one stop too, but just couldn't manage the tires as well. Or was Vettel on a 2 stop as well? No, I think Vettel was on a 1 stop and Leclerc was on a 2, because I know the 2.
Yeah, it was 2 different strategies.
Yeah, for them. Yep. Because we'll talk about it after. But I know Leclerc said he went the wrong way with strategy. He kind of took more of the blame this weekend. But, so Lewis in first, Vettel in second, and Valtteri Bottas in third. 3 wins in a row for Mercedes. It's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. They talked about it on 3 Legs, 4 Wheels. I feel like we got to shout them out at this point. Shout out to that awesome show. But they talked about, you know, how Ferrari won, 3 or 4 in a row? Big deal. Everybody losing their shit. Mercedes has now won 3 in a row, and we don't see...
No big deals happening. Well, I guess we had the big deal at the beginning of the year, though, right? So
that's true, with the 5-1-2 finishes in a row.
There you go.
You're right.
They took all our excitement.
I remember at the beginning of the year, I think it was Monaco maybe or Montreal. I can't remember which race it was when they broke that. Like, it stopped the 1-2s. I want to say Monaco, but I can't remember off the top of my head. If not Monaco, 100% Montreal, because I was there and Vettel was in first and second, and the whole business with switching the signs and everything. But yeah. Anyway, so Lewis, we'll just stick with Lewis and Valtteri and Mercedes right now. We'll kind of work our way down from the top 10. Mm-hmm. Like you said, amazing race by him. Held the tires out, managed to kind of, not go off at the beginning of the race with that start.
That was insane.
Vettel pushing him off to the side a little bit too much, kind of getting.
Was that Vettel? I thought it was Leclerc.
No, it was Vettel. Yeah, it was Vettel because Leclerc was on pole. Because Leclerc was ahead, and Hamilton was in third. So then it was kind of Vettel was moving over and over, and Hamilton's like, well, "Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I guess Vettel said once he noticed, then he moved over, and at that point, Lewis had to let off.
Yeah,
so he lost his speed.
Whole wheel was on the grass.
Exactly. Lost. You don't want to have what happened to Ricardo in Australia with his wing breaking off at the beginning of the year.
Well, it looked like he hit a pothole.
Ricardo?
That was literally a pothole in the grass.
Yeah, not just flat grass like Lewis. You are right. So anyway, so Lewis had to let off on the gas. Both Ferraris kind of pulled ahead, and then now Lewis is going into turn one, kind of battling with Max.
Yep.
And did you see all the comments Lewis was making about Max and like leaving him space? And he's like, you got to leave him space. Like,
it's either you fight aggressive with him or you leave him space because you know that he's gonna take that space.
Yeah.
Right. And I heard him saying some stuff like that, and it was.
Yeah, I don't have the quotes. I don't want to read it. We don't need to get into it anyway. But it was just a lot of comments about him saying, you know how Max is. You want to make sure you give him lots of space. He's like, so I gave him lots of space. They kind of touched a little bit going into turn one. I think they touched a little bit. But either way,
I think it was turn two.
It was turn two because
Lewis got the oversteer.
Exactly.
And he had to snap it back.
Almost hit Vettel.
Yep.
Like almost went right into the back of Vettel, which was crazy. They both went onto the grass, managed to keep it kind of straight. And then I think that gave Albon second or third.
And Sainz.
And Sainz, yes, jumped up
fourth.
Third
they
and
both
fourth.
Went through.
And then Lewis and them were fighting for the rest. And then I think, was it probably on lap 2 or 3 that Max got his puncture where he managed to, because he was at the back, right? And then he had to pass somebody and he tried to make a pass and his tire.
It was
Bottas.
Yeah, he clipped Bottas. I think it was still on lap 1.
Oh yeah, was it by the end of lap 1 when they were approaching the stadium section?
Because Verstappen did 70 laps on the hard tires.
Oh wow, and it was a 71 lap race.
Yeah.
Shite. I didn't even realize that.
Speaking of that, now take that into comparison. You hear Lewis talking about these tires and wondering if they're going to last. Are they going to last? And then you have Verstappen going into the pits on lap 1
and
putting those hards on and just pushing. And guess where he ends up? P6. So
P6.
it's
right there, probably not too far behind Albon. I don't have the times as far as how far back he finished from Albon.
But still, it's still amazing recovery to come back from all the way from dead last up. It's like
amazing.
insane.
I know the Red Bull, and I don't know for sure, but I know the Red Bull is better at conserving its tires than the Mercedes, especially at that track with the aero and everything. And we talked about it last week, I think, or was it we? No, you weren't here last week. You were here the week before. It was just me. I was talking about the elevation and the different air and everything in Mexico. So that could be a factor too, as far as how the Mercedes can keep the tires hot compared to Verstappen's car. But obviously, I'll do it for him right now. Good on you, Max Verstappen, for keeping them tires 70 fucking laps, because I think the only person other than maybe Hamilton that went quite as long as he did was Ricardo, but we'll get to him later on in kind of our top 10 talk here. Anything else from Lewis? I think that was kind of it. He drove himself. The strategy is what took him there. I mean, him deciding, to have that strategy over Vettel and just keep the tires better than Vettel is the reason that he won the race. So.
Vettel was expecting those tires to go off a cliff to end its life in a very drastic way. He was expecting a puncture or some kind of degradation or something to happen immediately.
To either force Lewis off track or force Lewis to pit, which would then make him be in third, I think, at that point, or second. Probably third because Leclerc. But I don't know. Leclerc was on a 2-stop too. But anyway, Valtteri comes in third place. Tough qualifying though. The guy crashed at the very end of Q3, hit the wall on the left side of I guess you could call it the parabolica of Mexico. Kind of the last turn there. It was a really weird crash because I remember watching it live and you see Max come around the corner and then you see all of a sudden you just see a car going straight up against the wall and then he smashes the barrier. I think they said like 17 or was it 7 G's of force when he hit the barrier. I think it was 7 or 17.
7 possibly.
Yeah,
teen.
I don't know. I think it was 17.
There is a certain point that the medical car gets deployed, right?
Oh,
That's what they were saying. So it had to be I think it was at least 4 Gs or something.
Yeah, that one, I think it was a lot more than that. Is all I knew, because I know that they were making a big deal about how high the Gs actually were when he made contact with the barrier. And I don't know if we've ever talked about it on this show, but Beyond the Grid, fantastic Formula One podcast. We might have talked about the Valtteri Bottas episode actually last time you were here.
Of course.
we listened to that, and he talked about his back.
His back.
And me and you immediately thought, oh shit, I wonder if he's okay in his back, and kind of is that going to be an issue here or there? So he was okay. I mean, as far as the race went, had an awesome race, managed to get himself, like I said, up into P3 with having such a big scare in qualifying, and then the heavy breathing. I don't know.
That gave me scared. That gave me chills when I heard him breathing like that. But he was winded, so yeah. But it's not what you want to be hearing, right? It's like, Valtteri, you okay? Yeah. No,
that's not a good sign. And I didn't know. I was thinking, like, does this have to do with the air? Is this because he's lack of oxygen and he's tired? Who knows? But I think the biggest thing was, like you said, it was the winded. It was the impact of probably his back hitting his seat when he went forward and back.
Yep.
Because it was just a straight on his nose hit the barrier.
Yep.
So, like, he was riding the wall with the left side of his car, and then his nose hit the barrier.
I believe he clipped the curb, right? Got a snap oversteer, corrected it, but it just pulled him into the wall. And then he literally grinded the wall into the barrier. And then it was, like, immediate.
And the camera shot, like I was saying, when they had the camera
the
near
TV pod one, right?
Near the finish line, and then all of a sudden you just see Bottas going sideways across the screen, and you're like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Oh, you're talking okay, that one. I'm talking about the one that's actually on the
car.
Oh,
Bottas is
right before the moment of impact. It cut out just because of the G's were so high. So if you watch the replays, you see the camera switches to, like, the front camera that's facing him.
Yeah, I know exactly what view you're talking about.
Because the TV pod one wouldn't work anymore. So it was either you get a perspective from outside, or you're getting, like, these mixed ones from, like, the front view and then, like, a rear facing view.
That's crazy. I didn't see that. I just saw, like, the live shot of kind of the shot there. The crazy part was that he was on a hot lap, bro. He was going to be out qualifying at least Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
He was setting purple sectors in, I want to say, at least one, maybe two of the three sectors that there was, obviously.
Yeah, he had the fastest first and second sector. And he was about to go through his third.
So,
but that was the same with Vettel, though, right? Vettel was, I don't think he had a purple sector, but I know he
was beating personal best.
Yeah, he was beating his personal best, and he was very upset when he saw that.
I just think Valtteri might have been ahead of Lewis if we didn't have this crash. Because Lewis wasn't setting purple sectors as far as I remember. But who knows? I mean, it's in the past now, obviously.
He seemed like he was a little off pace, right? Especially Lewis qualifying 2 and 3. It was a little odd.
Not like where Verstappen or Valtteri was. Too many V's. We do this every week.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, good race, good result. P3, can't complain. I mean, he managed to keep himself close enough to Hamilton that Hamilton didn't win the championship, so can't complain about that. Ferrari, let's move on. How about this? How about this stat right here, sir? 9 poles on the year. How crazy is that?
For Ferrari?
Yeah.
Really?
I never would have guessed that. I looked that up today while we were working because I was curious. I wanted to know how many poles out of the season that we've had Ferrari get, and 9.
Really? Just 9?
Just 9? Really? That felt like a lot to me. I didn't even think it would have been that high.
I felt the opposite. I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like it could be.
I felt like they only really had one good race before the summer break, and that was Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pole. But then where else did they get pole? Spa. That was after the summer break.
That was after, yeah.
Hungary. I don't think they were on pole in Hungary. They may have been, but either way.
Hungary. No, that was Germany. That was raining. Never mind.
Yeah. Either way, 9 poles. Good on you, Ferrari. It's pretty awesome. I don't think they've been able to claim 9 poles in the last 4 seasons.
It's almost good for them looking forward, right?
Oh, definitely.
For the next year before all these regulation changes.
If they even happen at this point, we'll see. Some of them are talking like it's not going to be quite as much as we thought is going to be changed. As
with the arrow and everything?
Yeah. It's not really written in stone anymore here. We're going to be, honestly, the day that this drops is the day that we're supposed to be finding out the most amount of information. So maybe check back in the F1 update next week as far as the 2021 updates and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, as long as everything goes according to plan, me and Phil are going to be together here for the rest of the F1 season doing the F1 update. So, but yeah, Ferrari, Vettel, he picked the right strategy as far as him and his teammate. Yep. I didn't mean obviously him and Lewis. Shit happens, but him and Leclerc. Because let's lump them together and talk about both of them a little bit. I heard Leclerc talking about the fact that he acknowledged, this is what I mentioned earlier, that he chose the wrong strategy, and he was talking with his engineers and his mechanics, and he thought that the better strategy was the 2-stopper. And he definitely was like, yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with that. So I appreciated that he kind of acknowledged that and fully understood that, this isn't just me listening to my race engineer and then blaming it on him if it's the wrong choice. Clearly, you know what I mean? Obviously, we don't think that, but you can get that perception sometimes. Like they're just listening to what strategy is,
Yeah.
you know, like,
They don't-
okay,
it's
come
like
in.
as if they don't have an input.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It was nice to hear him talk about the input that he did have and acknowledge that, you know what, maybe I chose to kind of go the wrong way with this one as far as this weekend went. So that's kind of what happened to him. I mean, it was just the wrong strategy.
Question is, would he been able to maintain his tires like
Vettel and Hamilton.
exactly?
Going out on a limb, I'm going to say no because he's so young and so rookie. So only
Aggressive.
drove two, and that too. Only driven 2 Formula One cars really in his life. So definitely not like those two. You know what I mean? But who knows? Again, maybe you never know with pit stops, right?
Yeah.
You're right though, because this race here came down to tire management. And if you could manage your tires, I mean, we're going to get to it later with the best of the rest in P7, and it's no surprise that maybe one of the best tire managers finished in P7 as well, but we'll get there. That's what this race was about, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. The Ferrari, for me, that was, I don't know if you have much else to say about them. That was pretty much what it was. They went into turn 1 together. I was hoping Valtteri, again with the V's, I was hoping Vettel was going to sneak past Leclerc there on turn 1 and kind of use that super long slipstream of Mexico to get past him, but he couldn't. And then we seen Leclerc in the lead until the pit stops came, and then obviously Hamilton ended up inheriting it after that. But I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to say from Ferrari.
For Ferrari, not really, other than the fact that I like the way that Vettel was able to just be consistent through the whole race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no funny slip-ups or spin-outs. I'm not trying to point fingers at him, but, you know,
Yeah.
oversteers.
It's happened.
Oversteers, should I say. You know what I mean?
Stuff that he's been maybe not so good with in the last year.
Yeah.
I hear
he
you.
was consistent. It was good. As for
No
Leclerc,
mistakes. That's a good point.
yeah. As for Leclerc, I'm happy there was not too much radio.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually
radio commentary coming back.
yeah. That's a good point because that deserves one of those. You'd think we might have had that
Something.
with this scenario that he was in.
Yep.
With the pit stop, maybe
Questioning.
You know, he might have said, "Oh, bring me in now." Like, but again, maybe that comes full circle and it comes back to him knowing that he chose this pit stop strategy. So let's see what we can do with it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll talk similar to. I was gonna say, well, we'll get to it really quickly now. But Lando Norris, I thought it was awful because we're only going to talk about the top 10 tonight, but I just wanted to mention him quickly, and I felt horrible for the way that he went out at the beginning, but I found it very interesting that the team came on, like what they said to him. We're going to plan and see if we could do this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact wording, but it was something along the lines of, you know, we're going to see how it could have been.
Yeah.
Like where we could have been
Yeah.
if, do you know what I mean?
It was a weird way they said it, but I know exactly what you mean, and in that radio play.
the message there that they
Yeah.
gave to Lando. So I just thought that, I don't know, I wanted to bring that up for
Yeah,
Lando.
because he was, after his pit stop incident there with the front left wheel, right?
Yeah.
Being loose, they had to roll him back and then to tighten it and then let him go. From what I heard, though, apparently the light turned green and went right back to red immediately. So for him, as a driver, all he needed to see was that green and go, right?
Green and go, yeah.
But it happened so fast, and, you know, good thing he didn't reverse in the pits, because I believe that would have been a penalty.
Yes, I think you can reverse in the pits. You just can't cross the line at the end of the pit lane and then reverse at all.
Yeah.
Because then technically you're on track. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
reverse on track, then you're fucked.
Yeah, they immediately caught that, though, and you could see the mechanic just was like head on his hands on his head, and was like, no, can't be happening.
Question for you before we move to Red Bull and the rest of the top 10. Are you familiar with the lollipop man in the pits? Does that mean anything to you? Like the guy who holds
sign?
the circle sign that says stop, and then he flips it over and it says go?
No.
Okay, so that's how it used to be.
I was gonna say that's old.
That's not that old. Like the light's only been around. Don't quote me on this. Anybody who actually does watch a lot of F1, but I want to say 6, 7, 8 years, maybe something like that. No longer than 10. That's for sure. Would you prefer that? Do you like the human element?
I would say yes, because then you could do your verifications, you could do your double checks. You know. That.
But you're making pit stops go a little bit longer at that point.
Absolutely right.
Because it's not an automated.
But
whereas
you see what happens. It's automated. Immediately, it's switched to green and right back to red without him even
it
hesitating.
shouldn't have been green in the first place.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was a lollipop man, he never would have switched it to go.
Because he would have been looking at that front left guy, and
To
he
give
would have
his
been
signal.
like, no, and then torque it back on or whatever, off and back on, and then it would have been flipped and out the door.
Yeah.
Sure, the pit stop could have been 10, 15 seconds longer, but it would have saved him in the long run, right?
For
'Cause
sure,
if he went out on track with that loose wheel, that would have been the end of it. Before even getting out to like turn
to
2.
be able to try the stint that they wanted.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have even been able to do that. You're
They
right.
ended up just pulling him off anyways, right? DNF'd it.
Yeah, near the end. How long was it? I'm trying to remember now. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But either way, I felt bad for that, and I just thought it was interesting that they. The reason I say it's so interesting, or I thought it was so interesting, is because of how close we are to the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So for a team to just want to use that much of their engine when they only have 3 in the whole season, especially with a team like McLaren that's trying to hold on to 4th place for the first time in 8 years or whatever it's been since before Honda. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was just a strange choice, but I guess maybe that's why they decided to pull them off in the end. But yeah, I guess we can move on. Red Bull. This could have been a win, I think, man.
Missing signs though. You want to talk about signs or no?
About signs and
Because it's McLaren.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about Lando.
Oh,
and
okay. So you're gonna hop back.
Yeah, because that was just a little side note about Lando and more the radio message. Just because I'd never heard a radio message like that where they said we're gonna try this anyway and see what could have been. And maybe that's what they said.
Yes.
We can talk about science. I just don't think he's finished in the top 10 this weekend, which is a rarity for him because McLaren kind of.
Yeah.
Which is, again, a rarity for them.
He was doing good, though.
As of late. Yeah, he was at the beginning, but it must have been a strategy, and I don't know enough about exactly what happened to him.
I think he was on a 2-stopper.
So that's what it was. So that's what this race came down to. Was it 2 stops or 1 stops, determined where you were going to finish
It made it seem like it was going to be eventful, though, with all these different types of strategies. It seemed like we were going to have cars merging here and there and everywhere, and now it seemed like it was just a straightforward race.
Yeah, it kind of was. It was a straight, but it was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I know what you mean. You thought there was going to be more of, you come back out on track right in the pack with another group.
Yeah, and now you have to fight your way back up just
in your new tires, whereas they're trying to keep them
blue flagged, and you're just passing everyone, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Science, I guess we'll. Sorry, Science. Next time, we'll get to you next time. But anyway, Red Bull. Like I said, what could have been, man? This to me, if Max didn't have any issues at the beginning of the race and he led, I mean, we didn't even get into it here because this is, again, just an update, not quite an F1 podcast yet. But Max in qualifying got disqualified. Well, not disqualified. He got a 10-second, what was it, 10-second or 15-second penalty?
Did he?
Yeah, well, for speeding. Max was on pole.
Oh.
And then he got because
with
of
the yellow flag, my bad.
Because of the whole Bottas crash, he didn't see the sign. I don't want to get too much into it.
I forgot about that part. Well, that's the thing. He admitted it in the press conference that he's seen it. So, and for him to say, I didn't let off. I just, full out, flat out, gone. Well, there you go. There's your penalty. Why would you say that?
Yeah. And he literally said, just take my lap away then. And it's like, no, we're not going to take any of them away. We're just going to keep it and give you a 5-second or a 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
Rather than deleting your final lap and giving you your...
Drop you 3 places.
So it was, I think he probably learned a little bit on that one, but that's, I get a temper. I'm not quite as young as Max, but I get it. Sometimes it's going to get to that point. Last year he's talking about, I've said it to you before, punching reporters in the head and shit.
Yeah.
So, and I've given, I don't want to sound like I'm, being too of a pushover, I guess, but I've been very lenient and I've been giving credit to Max all year. So one little slip up in the media here, immaturity coming out. The guy is still 20, 21. I don't blame him. It's okay, I guess. but it's your own fault. The only person it's affecting is you and your team. So I guess lesson learned, but yeah, no pole for Max. So Max, obviously we talked about the whole situation with him and Lewis going into turn 1 and having to pit after he touched Bottas going into the stadium section, which we never see. Passes into the stadium section. That was cool.
Yeah, no.
Because it's a very rare thing that almost never happens. And then Albon up into third there for a few laps.
Good on Albon for sure.
Managed to Verstappen ended up 6th, like you said, right? He fought his way back. We kind of talked about him a little bit already. I just don't want to plow through him too quick. But Albon, P5, first time he's ever beat Max.
Yep.
So I'll give him credit there. He's doing something right, you know what I mean? Obviously, Max is a different scenario this weekend with being at the back of the pack and trying to have to catch back up to Albon and being just behind him.
Yep, but He did a hell of a good job, though.
He did. They both did.
I saw a stat. I believe it was Albin in like the past 3 races has gotten more points than I think it was Gasly. Or
Did in the whole first half of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
I'd
so
have
they're
to
pretty
go
much
look
saying that like Albon.
He's pretty much
seems
locked
like he's
in.
on. Yeah, he's on pace with Verstappen, and he can keep up with what they need him to do.
Yeah, I like Albon a lot. I think he's real quick, and I think he's a good driver. I don't want to sound like a mean guy. I just think he's too nice. Like when I see him do like, he's like, I like the whole jovial joking with your buddies and you're friends with everybody, but it's like, what happens when you need to be aggressive? Like even when he was joking around so much about like driving into the side of Norris and in Suzuka, it's just like, I get that we're all friends here and you're not competing for the lead.
But you saw.
But like,
he pushed. He went into it.
Yeah.
You know, if he wasn't competing, if he wasn't taking that gap, he wouldn't.
That's true.
Right.
It's not the move. It's I don't know how to explain it. He's just too jokey with other guys. Like it's like, this is Formula 1, bro. This is the highest form that there is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want him to be a little more serious.
Yeah.
It's not that I think he's Ricardo jokey. I just don't think he takes some of the seriousness of what happens on track sometimes as it is. Because, again, it's not that I don't think he's professional. The guy's professional as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely well put together in interviews and soft-spoken, well-spoken dude. I just think sometimes, again, maybe a little bit too jovial with his buddies and shit.
Yeah.
Because he's grown up with these guys, you know what I mean? Like, Lando, maybe this is one of the reasons they're so jokey with each other. Lando had a picture, I think I've told you this before, Lando had a picture of Albon karting on his fucking bedroom wall as a kid.
See, that's funny.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Because Albon's was the older one of the whole, young guys right now. Yeah. And yeah, he was like known in Britain as an amazing kart driver, and Lando like had a picture of him up on his wall. Like, I love this guy. He's my favorite kart racer and shit.
And now they're racing against
each other. In Formula 1. Crazy. They talked about Lando again, just hung up on Lando, but they talked about Lando and like they were showing him in practice going down the straight, and they're like, yeah, he could be driving a Formula Ford, but instead he's driving a Formula 1 just because like his age and what age you could still be driving Formula Ford. But yeah, that's it, I guess, from Red Bull. I just felt bad because I think if nothing happened to Max, and that like including the penalty in qualifying, I mean, if Max started on pole, I think we would have been talking about a Max Honda victory here in Mexico. As long as he was able to keep the tires and they didn't do a 2-stop.
Well, see, that's the thing. What was their original strategy?
That's true.
Were they going to be having a 1-stop? Were they going to put him on hard tires later, or were they going to do a 2-stop like some of the other drivers, put him on mediums on a second time and hope that he's going to be able to keep that pace?
I would have hoped a 1-stop, but thinking the way Red Bull is and they always want to fight to come back, I would have thought they would have put him on 2, thinking like, okay, yeah, put him on 2 and then Max can fight back. He can push to the
fresh
end.
Tires go.
And he can push. Well, we saw what happened with Leclerc. Didn't make a difference.
No.
You had lost too much time at that point for it to matter. But we'll roll through the rest of the top 10. This is the guy I was talking about earlier, Mr. Tire Saver, Sergio Perez. Home race for him.
Is it Checo?
Checo, yeah, like I was telling you. Checo Perez, this is P1 for him.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said to you at work today, when you have a race where both Mercedes finish, both Ferraris finish, and both Red Bulls finish the race, and you come in 7th place in a car that isn't one of those 3, I mean, it sounds bad as especially for somebody who doesn't watch a lot of Formula 1, but that's it. That's LMP2. Like you're winning Formula 1.5 at that point. So for him to finish in P7 in Mexico, for them to keep the Mexican Grand Prix going for another, I think, 4 years. I talked about it last week, so I know he's probably even more pumped up about that because this race was one of the ones that was on the fence at the beginning of this season, and they re-signed this year to confirm it for more. So I don't know if that was a little more, juice in the can or whatever you want to pick an analogy to give him extra fuel.
Fuel in the tank.
Fuel in the tank. There you go. That's probably a better one for what we're talking about. But yeah, good on him. Sergio Perez, P7, like I said, P1 at his home race for him pretty much.
Is he confirmed with Racing Point again next year?
Yeah, I think he's confirmed. I think they signed him to a 3-year deal. And I remember reading that, and I was like, whoa, like you don't hear that often in F1, 3-year deal. That's a little different, but I think they know he's good. He knows that at this point in his career, he's probably not going to go to Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull or one of the top teams. Probably not.
Yeah.
If guys like Hulkenberg can't get drives either, not to say Hulkenberg's significantly better than Perez, but I'm just saying if
The experience.
if guys like him
comparison experience, yeah.
having trouble, then you never know. Down in P8, Daniel Ricciardo. Last of the what? Last of the late what?
I was going to say first into the grass. Is that what I?
Yeah, I like Daniel
last of
Ricciardo.
the late breakers, but I guess not with this original brake bias system.
Yeah, exactly. I like Ricciardo too. I got a Ricciardo.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I don't want to bury him, but it's just funny enough that the weekend after they were disqualified for having a brake advantage, let's just call it for now, a brake advantage, that he tries to make a pass in, what is it, second, third, fourth, fifth last lap of the race, nearing the end of the race.
Nearing the end.
And he overshoots himself and goes under the grass. And Sergio Perez, the guy we just talked about, manages to take that 7th place. So I'll give Ricciardo credit for not going into the wall. And then when he went from pavement to grass, back to pavement, he had a massive snap oversteer that he managed to keep in. He managed to not have the car flick around on him.
Yeah.
Jesus, I can't even speak. So
that was really hopeful. That dive bomb was really hopeful, though. It was watching the replays. He was so far back.
I thought he was going to get it.
But at the same time, if he was more comfortable with his brakes, the brake pressure, and the way he needed to apply it, I'm sure he would have had that position. He would have.
It was just far.
But that's the thing.
He was far, really coming from far back.
And then that last minute braking. If he didn't lock up and he had that full pressure slowing him down, he would have had Perez.
It really puts it into perspective, the kind of pressure that these guys have. Just because if one little fucking slide to and you're into Perez. He's right there. And you're right into the side of him. So kudos, for avoiding Perez and then also allowing Perez to take the place back out.
I believe that braking zone, you pull 4 Gs.
Forward,
yeah. So you have 4 times your body weight going into your brake pedal. So you're trying to avoid that, but also be pushing it hard enough to slow it down from 300 kilometers an hour.
And also keep your head that's now 4 times the weight of your head from falling into your stomach.
Yeah, so
that's insane.
Really crazy. There's like two spots that I believe that you pull 4 Gs forward.
I'd be curious to know now that maybe that's a separate conversation me and you should talk about off air, but just some of the turns, like some of the corners in the whole calendar that have the highest G-force lateral, not would that be lateral would be forward
and back, yeah.
Not side to side like
radial.
Exactly, like Maggots and Beckett's or something, or like the S's in USA we're going to experience.
Or in Russia, the whole left turn.
Exactly,
right?
That's a really good example. But yeah, so Ricciardo there in P8, and then the final 2 here, we kind of got to talk about them together because this was a little bit of some fuckery what ended up happening. Gasly in P9, up 1 place, with Hulkenberg in P10 because Hulkenberg was in P9, and Kvyat was in P10. Kvyat, I mean, we got to give him credit. He's, you got to go for it. It's the last turn of the last lap of almost the last race. And he tried to pass Hulkenberg just after the stadium section there, ran into the back of him, bumped him. I don't even think Hulkenberg was that pissed about it. He kind of said, you got to try it. You can't be mad at somebody for making an effort at it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, it wasn't like he came out of nowhere. He was there. He had that opportunity, and it was just when Hulkenberg started turning in, the front wing clipped him, and back end came out. And that was it. And he just went back into the wall and took off.
Well, yeah, because they showed it.
It sucks so much, but at the same time, it's racing incidents. What happens, right?
And me and you were watching. The end of the race comes, and we're like, why does Hulkenberg not have a rear wing?
Yeah.
What's going on? So he crawled across the finish line. And then what ended up happening was, so Kvyat obviously passed him because of the little bump there. Kvyat got a penalty. I think it was a 10 or 20 I'm not sure. Probably a 10-second penalty. So Kvyat was bumped down to 11th. And that moved Hulkenberg up to 10th. And then that also moved Gasly up to 9th. So it's crazy because after punishing Toro Rosso for bumping into Renault, you then gave the points to Gasly.
Yeah.
Because Gasly was behind both of them. So then Gasly jumped up because Gasly passed Hulkenberg because he was on the side of the road. So that put Gasly into 9th. And then it's confusing because Kvyat was in 9th at the time, but then Kvyat got moved.
A penalty and
it
gets dropped.
It got moved down. So it's just funny that they were penalizing Toro Rosso, Kvyat, Gasly's teammate,
but they still got the points in the long run.
But then ended up penalizing Renault more because Gasly finished ahead of Hülkenberg anyway. So I don't know, kind of a crazy finish there, and I don't know. But overall, it was an awesome race. I thought it was wicked. First time I've ever done it that I've had a buddy come over to my house, watch the whole more or less race weekend here, and then a week later or 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, go to your house, that buddy, same buddy's house, and watch the race weekend at his house. So thank you for that handshake on the show. First time we've done that, and that was fun.
Won't be the last. Don't worry.
Definitely won't be the last. But that was fun. So I don't know, a lot of fun. Thanks for having that stuff there, Philly.
That was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
If I had a sound effect, maybe like a bald eagle, or like a marching band, or
A bald eagle.
or maybe a cannon firing off into the distance. I don't know, something like that.
Something American.
America. Because it's time for the USA preview, my friend. And we're going to get into, I got a lot. We've already been going a little longer than we planned. USA. But yeah, it's the USA, and this is the next closest race we have to us, so we got to talk about it. I'm going to do a little bit of rapid fire stuff at the beginning here. Just jump in at any point if you have anything to say about the USA track. All right?
Fast.
Well, first off, before I get into anything, I got to say, shout out to Haas, because I took a picture of this on my phone, and I forgot to send it to you, and I don't know where my phone is right now anyway. But Haas is driving a NASCAR this weekend.
Oh, really?
Both of the Haas drivers are driving the Gene Haas. Yeah, there it is. There's the picture for you.
Like
the Haas team.
So is that the oval NASCAR, or
yeah,
is that like the?
Because Haas they race in oval.
Okay.
So that's the car from Oval Racing that they race. I guess it's a Ford. I didn't know that. Makes sense. America. Yeah. So they're racing that at the Circuit of the Americas, COTA, this weekend.
Yep. You say COTA, yeah, I always said CHOTA.
I guess you'd need a C or an H maybe, or an H in there. But yeah, I guess I didn't really let anybody know. This is the USA Grand Prix that we're previewing now. We just finished talking about the Mexico one. This is happening this weekend as of, if you're listening to this now, it's probably now. Circuit of the Americas, like I said, is the name of it. Shout out to my buddy Kyle. Guy used to live with me, and his family, I'll keep it at that. People in his family race 1600s, so he's going to the race this weekend. He's going to be down there watching the family member race in the Formula 1600 race, as well as watching the
That's pretty awesome.
The Grand Prix this weekend. He'll probably have some dope seats.
Is it in Austin?
Yeah.
It's in Austin or Arlen?
Austin. It's definitely, I almost said Houston, but I think that's because I've been watching too much baseball.
Yeah, probably.
But it's Austin, Texas, so he's going. Shout out to him. Hope you have an awesome time, Kyle. Grab me that hat that I sent you a DM about, because Lewis has got another special edition. It's camo. It's sick. It's like, what is it? What do you call camo that's not green? Like white, black, and gray?
Urban camo?
I guess white, black, and gray.
Yeah,
camo.
Digital? Is it kind of is it squares or is it patterns?
It's actual camo.
Okay.
With the Mercedes logo. So I sent him a screenshot of that, and I was like, hey, I need you to pick me up this if you see this around the track. So let me know if you get that there.
$70 hat.
Probably 80. But yeah, add it to the collection. I got to be honest. I'm just, like I said, I'm going to go rapid fire here. Some of the stuff that I feel about the track. I call this the Franken track, because this is kind of the track that's been, it's the Herman Tilke, which is the designer of Russia and a lot of tracks nowadays. He's taken pieces from tracks all over the world and kind of mashed them all into one. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that would be better for a series that isn't Formula One. Let's have a track that's like a bunch of Formula One tracks for cars that aren't Formula One cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my own personal preference. But I gotta be honest. This is probably my least favorite race.
Oh yeah, you've said that.
/ maybe not race.
No, not race, track. It's your least
It's
favorite
probably
track.
my least favorite track.
Especially in the Formula Phil, you didn't want to do that.
Yeah, which
DNF on that one.
Exactly, which we're gonna get back to doing that soon. But yeah, I don't know. Not one of my favorites. I think it's because of all the extra runoff area that they had to make for MotoGP and the requirements that there is for MotoGP. But I don't know. I knew you've driven it in the sim a little bit too. I don't know if
it has some good elevation though.
It does.
You know, through the S's, it's
up
like
and down,
up and then down. And
I got to be honest. I like turn 1 a lot. The rest of the track isn't my favorite. I like the back straight a little bit too because it has a nice left-hander, the way you can make a nice overtake into that left-hander after the back straight. But turn 1 is nice. It's just the S's and all the runoff that really...
It was hard to clip the apex, so I can never spot the apex on turn 1. That was the one thing I had a problem with.
It's because it's so wide.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost... I feel like you could fit 6 cars wide.
Around it through
well,
it.
like, maybe not around, but like going into it at least. Like, why? Like, I don't know. It's a tough one to hit the apex, so I know exactly what you mean. Again, random facts. IndyCar joined this track. We don't talk about IndyCar here much, but it's the kind of the North American open wheel single seater racing series that takes place in North America. If you live around our area, Honda Indy would be something that you're
familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. They joined in 2018, so that was good to see. And I remember people being blown away by the differences in lap times from
F1
to IndyCar, but people got to understand that
F1's faster, right?
Around this track,
yeah,
significantly.
Okay.
And people,
is it because of the downforce and the way they're able to incorporate the cars into it?
It's the downforce through the S's alone.
Okay,
they can take those S's significantly quicker. It's the downforce, man, but not just the downforce. They can take it. I'm all over the place. They can take it significantly quicker than the Indy cars, but it's not just the downforce, bro. It's the fucking tires. They're using Firestone, not skinny, but significantly skinnier tires.
I wonder what size they would be
in IndyCar than they are in Formula One. I know the back wheels on the Formula One car are like, I don't know if they're double, but they're obviously not double, but they're probably 1.5 the size of an IndyCar tire. So that helps, and then the braking, because a Formula like an IndyCar cannot brake from 310 kilometers an hour at 100 meters. I don't know what the number is that they need to brake at. Maybe it's 150 or 200. But I can tell you for sure, when I was at the Honda Indy this year, I stood by that 100-meter sign on the back straight on Lakeshore, and they were not braking. They were braking way before that.
Yeah.
So, and that's not the only indicator that I have, but that was a live, in-person indicator that showed me, hey, these cars need a little bit more room to brake.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons that...
More time to slow down.
Exactly. But I'm probably spending too much time on the Indy cars. Lewis won the championship here in 2015. So it's possible that he could do it again this weekend. I mean, he's
very possible.
I think he's only got to finish 4 points ahead.
Yeah, I would like to see the stats on this one.
Bottas. Yeah, I don't want
compared to like last week how they were showing Bottas where he has to place compared to Lewis. I would like to see that again for this year, just to not for this track, just to see.
Yeah, for this race, I was gonna say we'll wait and see if they post that picture again because I'll send it your way if they do because that was the only reason I knew about it. I mentioned this to you at work this week. Lewis has now officially won a title at the final 4 races of the Formula One season. Because we know he's won in 2 in Mexico. We won it, 17 and 18 he won in Mexico. 2015 he won in USA. 2008 he won in Brazil. And 2014 he won in Abu Dhabi, which is pretty cool that it went all the way down to the last race of the season in 2014. Especially with it weird because that was like the most dominant Mercedes year because it was the first year of the hybrids before anybody had a chance to really understand what they were doing up there at the front. But anyway, and then, I just wanted to say this because just feels weird for me. So if he wins, this is his 6th world title. If he wins this, I will have seen 3 of his 6 world championships. And that, to me, because I still feel like an outsider to Formula One of only watching it from 2016 to now. And if I look back on it in 10 years and tell somebody, oh, yeah, Lewis is who knows? He might be a 7-time world champion or 8-time by it's all said and done. Who knows?
10-time.
But, I don't know about that much. But I think once he beats Schumacher, that's probably where he
draws the line? You think so?
I'll put it to you this way. If he wins next year, he gets 7, and then in 2021 he gets 8, he's retiring. I think he would retire at 8 for sure. And at that point, he's like 35, 36.
Yeah.
So... Anyway, what was I... Oh, yeah. So I just thought it was crazy that I still kind of feel like an outsider, and in 10 years, if somebody goes back, Lewis Hamilton, did you watch Lewis Hamilton? Yeah, like I actually watched like 3 of his 6 world championships, 4 potentially next year if he wins the world championship, who knows? Of, more than half of his world championships. Now, I know there was almost a 10-year gap or ish in between, maybe 8, whatever it was, gap from 2008 to 2014 in between. That he didn't win anything, but that I wasn't watching. But still, I don't know. I just thought that was...
It's almost like your dad watching Schumacher win, right?
Exactly, yeah. And my dad, I think, watched almost all of it because he was watching Senna back then, too. So he would have seen all the Schumacher
really
stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, like you said, Austin, Texas, 120,000 people capacity, I think, is what the one-day capacity is. I don't know what the course of the whole weekend what could be in general admission and whatnot. But the track opened on October 1st, 2012, and the first race was obviously 2012 as well. There's 20 turns. It's 3.4 kilometers, and like I said before, it's a Hellman Tilker. I got to figure out how to fucking say that. I don't know how to say Buddy's name. And the lap record is a 1:37.392 from Lewis in 2018 at the Mercedes.
Last year.
Yeah. Another one that I thought was really cool, I don't know if you knew about this, but they have a massive, I don't know what you want to call, I guess, amphitheater. There's like a stage concert hall, similar to like a Molson amphitheater in the middle of the track. So typically if we were, let's say we were going for the weekend, then we get tickets for this concert as well.
Oh, they're going to have a concert too?
Yeah.
Kind of like Tiesto after Mexico?
This is more like on the Saturday night before the race.
That's interesting.
Like if you're there for the weekend. I can't
That's really fucking cool, actually.
Yeah, I can't remember who did it last year, but I know in 2017 they had Taylor Swift. And there was somebody else too, but it was like they get a big name. They bring someone big like a Taylor Swift in there.
Some country artist probably.
Well, yeah, not even just, I mean, fuck, she's barely country anymore anyway. But anyway, just somebody who has that notoriety name that's big. You know, I'm trying to think of something like Ariana Grande. That's another probably in the same sort of genre. Give me somebody else. Who's somebody that's, I don't know.
I listen to heavy metal, bro. I don't know anyone.
Yeah, and I listen to 90s hip-hop, so this is not the conversation that me and you should be having. But either way, it's wicked that they have a giant auditorium concert hall there for the fans to go to this concert before the Sunday race.
Speaking back to Mexico, sorry. Actually, that Tiesto, right after the ceremony, was actually really cool. Like, I never knew that they did something like that.
Like a party.
Like a full-out party.
Everybody from the stands went out down there and they're jumping around on the track. Like it was wicked.
I actually have to tell that to my sister because she's seen Tiesto live before too. And back in the day.
Way.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
That's wicked. Yeah, you definitely have to tell her. That looked the closest I think you can get to like a Monza podium.
Oh yeah.
It was nuts. Yeah. Insane. Again, that's one of the races that I would love to go to, but I'm not going to Mexico City for
you should
any extended period of time.
Shout out to WTF1. They did like a whole budget thing to go around the world if you wanted to watch the F1 races. So they have like your highest budget and the lowest budget.
This was the lowest?
Nope. China's the lowest, but yeah, it's crazy. You got to watch it.
I'll have to check that out. Shout out to WTF1 for that too. And then I wrote this here just because my mom is like a massive fan and she's in the fan club and shit. But Kenny Chesney opened that stage in 2013. He was the first one to do a show there, and they opened it with him. So I was pretty cool. And he's huge in the States. That motherfucker sells out like WrestleMania style stadiums in minutes.
Wow.
So it was cool to have him there. And I don't know, like I said, that was more just for my mom. One last thing, I don't normally do this, but I thought it'd be cool. Maybe I can introduce this into the rest of the going forward with the rest of the season and the F1 updates. Just a couple other series that race there. So I mentioned IndyCar, MotoGP, WEC, which is the World Endurance Championship. There's many more than what I'm saying, but I'm just kind of giving you a good collection. Rallycross, V8 Supercars, shout out to our boy
William.
IMSA WeatherTech Championship, shout out to Mossport and our local drive-in here. And they had the 2014, 15, and 16 X Games were held at this place. Yeah, the same as Circuit of the Americas. And then, and there's more. Google it, honestly. If you guys want to know more of the different types of series that are racing at Circuit of the Americas, give it a check and Google it. But if there's anything else you want to get into for the USA Grand Prix or F1 update or anything?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see that track, though, definitely. I want to see what
first time
all the cars
watching it live for you too.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So it's gonna be good to see the pace, good to see the actual race, but I just wonder who's gonna be on top, who's gonna be the stronger car of the weekend, like full out of the weekend. I'm not just talking about just race day. I'm talking about all three practices, all three qualifyings, and the race. Who's going to be the strongest car?
If I'm making a prediction, I don't know if that's what you're asking of me right now,
sure.
But if I'm making a prediction. And it's not just because, my suit that I'm wearing right now and my hat that I'm wearing right now.
Why did I even ask this?
Honestly, though, it's because of the style of track. This track doesn't really have a specific type of, it's not a straightaway base track. It's not a curve. Like, it has everything. There's significant straightaways. There's significant S's, significant braking zones, and there's a little bit of everything. And if we're going to talk about like overall best car, I don't want to sound biased, but this season in 2019, at least, majority of the races, it's been the Mercedes. So I just think that's why.
No, I understand. I do see they are a very dominant factor out of all the other teams, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll see how the drivers do.
We will, because
Who can put their foot to the floor.
Yes, foot flat and attack. Shout out to the Bayesian boys I used to kart with, because that was a saying
Foot flat and attack
that they used to have on the back of their karting suits, and I always like that. But I hope next week when we're talking, if it's next week, if it's not the week after, we are talking about a Lewis Hamilton championship, my friend. So we'll see. But I guess that's it for the F1 update. We'll get silence from Phil for the rest, and that's it for Nick and Honda Tech Phil. We'll catch you next time. And that's it. Halloween special?
I had a dream last night. When I woke up, I remembered it, but just a moment ago.
The Round Table, episode 60. This has been the Halloween special. We appreciate everybody for checking out the show. I thank you, Phil, for coming on the F1 update. I thank Donovan and Tanner for coming on the first half of the Halloween special. And like we said, we're going to get Phil in for probably the rest of the season in here in the F1 update stuff, but it's been fun.
Thank you.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitter, guys, at PW LookBack on both of those. You can give us a follow, like, subscribe, share, comment, DM, PM, whatever you want. I don't know. Get at me on there. ProWrestlingLookBack@gmail.com is where you can send us an email if you want to get in contact any other way. Don't forget, check out teespring.com/ProWrestlingLookBack. You can get t-shirts, mugs, cups, sweaters. I posted a sweater today. It's like our anniversary sweater that's kind of got the date of the first episode we recorded on the back of it. Check that out. Super cool stuff. iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, and Google Play. Check them all out. Hit the 5 stars. Subscribe. We appreciate it. Leave us a comment. Like I always say, preferably a good one. If not, it's not the end of the world. If you want to get in contact with myself, it's at Salsa, SCELSA on Twitter and Instagram. Donovan is at JustDon44 or the Don Hour.
And I'm Philly_FK7.
And at PW LookBack is where you can get in contact with almost any of us, and that's kind of the main one. Give it a follow to stay up to date on all the Pro Wrestling LookBack stuff. And if you don't already, check out the sponsor, like I said at the beginning of the show, Pure Oxide Premium CBD Oils. Get at them at Pure Oxide CBD on Instagram. They've got affiliate accounts for different locations around Ontario. Get in contact with the owner on there at Justin.Brothers to find out the right product that fits you. He's got 2,500 milligram cream, 5,000 milligram cream, 2,500 milligram juice, juice? Is that what you call it? Juice?
Oil?
Drops? I guess it drops. I don't know. Either way, I take it and the stuff works amazing. So get the 2,500 milligram drops, the 5,000 milligram drops, the 3,000 milligram cream. That's the cream I'm talking about.
That's the cream.
And yeah, joint pain, anxiety, overall well-being. They've got hundreds of positive reviews, and you can get everything at pureoxide.com. They ship worldwide. And if you want to get in contact with them, like I said, at Pure Oxide CBD on Instagram. This has been the special edition Halloween episode of the Roundtable, episode 60. I'm Nick.
And I'm Honda Tech Phil.
Stay classy.
No.